Hello and welcome to Loki Studio. Today I'm going to be covering again the profile settings tab. I already covered this a little while ago to cover profiles and what they are and everything. We're just going to go a little more in depth on this. Essentially, what we have is basically default settings. You have your different fonts that you can choose from. I personally like Evil Bunny font myself and the Nordic ones. But Airstrike is pretty cool too. But these are my user fonts, right? So Impact and Arial are considered like the system default fonts that are the most common for thumbnails and memes. And then from there, we also that's basically handpicked from the hundreds or thousands of system fonts you may have on your system, right? And then you have user fonts, which basically you install manually. These are in your own user, like your own user profile, and you can basically change to what you want or install the fonts you want to personalize for your own thumbnails, right? So this keeps everything decluttered. The whole purpose was literally decluttering and reducing choices, not because we couldn't offer everything, but because there's just so darn many. We want to keep everything narrowed down a little bit, right? And then basically, the font scale, the fonts are generally like 32 points, and it scales depending on the size of your thumbnail pictures and other things like that. Logo maximum size, this is basically the maximum size, whether it's width or height, if it will dynamically scale down to 300. 300 is a little too much. I actually like to have my logo at around 200 now. But that would be if it's not square, right? If it's like a portrait, the height will be scaled down to 300, and the width will be scaled proportionate to the ratio. It's just a very convenient way of saying, okay, the maximum is this, and that's it. You don't have to worry about like X, Y. You don't have to worry about the maximum size of height or width. You can just basically plug in one number. I like convenience. I like to make things simple. It sounds more complicated than it is, but it's really not. It preserves the aspect ratio, so it doesn't make it doesn't like shrink down 300 and that's it. And then the width is not scaled either. It doesn't do that. It scales the width and height or whatever to whichever one's the maximum or the largest size, the largest number. So if you have a really wide logo, it will scale it down to 300, and it'll scale the height down to let's pretend 200. All right. Frame selection, basically fast to brightest. This is basically the algorithm for grabbing your thumbnail. It essentially grabs from 30 seconds to actually 30 seconds till the end. 30 seconds from the start, 30 seconds from the ending of the video. Random as fast as the default. It's the one that I use the most. It basically just grabs any random frame possible. This one will do a little more of a scanning of your video. It's really, really slow. I don't use this very often, but it will scan like every frame basically. So you can do like every 10 frames. I want to scan, right? Or every 30 frames and just scan all through. Right? Upload settings, basically, this is the most complicated part of the entire profile system, and it's the most confusing part for a lot of people. I apologize. I don't want to make this confusing. I wanted to make this simple, convenient, set and forget kind of system. So basically, days between uploads, like 5 days. So every five, it'll upload on Monday, and then 5 days later, I think it's Friday, it'll upload again, right? Or Saturday. I don't, because it is 7 days in a week. I've been talking a lot, so forgive me, but let's just say Monday is your day, and then 5 days later, I guess it would be Friday. So 5 days later it'll upload again. It'll set the release time to 11:30 a.m. This is military time or 24-hour time. So basically 1300 will be 1 a.m. 1 p.m. Sorry, 1 p.m. I'm going to start making more and more mistakes because I'm trying to get through this quickly and I'm not scripted. So basically, privacy status is private. That basically means that it will schedule. If right now for me it's 11:52 a.m. So if it's private, it will schedule this video for tomorrow because I'm already past the public release of the video. If I set this to public, it will release the video immediately now. Like here we go, and it's like there's a tooltip for everything, right? So basically, yes, it can be. I can schedule this at 3 p.m. or I could upload at 3 p.m. and the first video, because it's set to public, will immediately be public as soon as the upload is done. And then their schedule will start from like basically today and 5 days from now. YouTube category, there's all different categories for your different videos. You can put in your description header, you can put in your description footer, hey, this is my video series on XYZ, and description footer is here's all my merchandise, here's all the links, all the important links. This is very valuable for the metadata tab, which basically says, here we go, join me as I explore the universe of X4 Foundations, right? And then at the bottom, this is my personal footer. Published with Loki Studio, the ultimate tool for content creators. If you're watching this, you're very interested. Thank you very much. So basically, the official site and Discord and everything like that. You can put whatever you want in your header and footer. I don't care. But basically what it does is it wedges the metadata creator, wedges this automatically AI augmented stuff in the middle. It finds chapters, it finds all the good information, and it creates chapters and it creates all that stuff. Like God Realm Choice Revealed. That's basically part of the X4 series. I forget the Paranids have like the God Realm or whatever. It's just their name of their sectors. Argon Prime Exploration, right? Because I went to Argon Prime, boom, boom, like that, right? So, anyways, we go to the profile settings, and we're done with that. And then here's even more stuff. Blood and Loot is a series name. AI personality, how I want the personality to portray or to create metadata for. Because it's Blood and Loot, and it's an instructional video series of a vibe-coded game, I want it to be instructional. Genre is essentially what you think it is. It's like vibe coding tutorial series documenting blah blah blah. Target audience is game development process and like game developers, Unreal Engine enthusiasts, all that fun stuff. The root directory is the directory where I want the actual video series to be located, and of course this one is Blood and Loot. And then basically from here, the video subdirectory. I used to put things into like the to upload directory, but then I realized that I really don't need that directory anymore because Loki Studio is now managing everything for me. So I started leaving this blank, but for historical reasons, I left that in there. Transcriptions were basically filling up my directory structure, so I decided to add a transcription subdirectory where all the transcription files go. You can go in there, click Control A, delete if you want. Once you're done, same with metadata. All the metadata files, basically the JSON files, are now in the metadata directory. There's a thumbnail subdirectory. I keep those in the video subdirectory, which is basically this right here. Yes, because it's just easier to keep the thumbnails next to the video. The done directory is basically once you upload, it moves to done, and it removes it from the list of videos in progress. It's a great way to keep track of what you uploaded and what you need to still upload. Failed, basically, what it means. It failed to upload for some reason. You have to go through the logs, figure out what's going on, what broke, and move it back to the directory. And then try to re-upload again. Flare subdirectory is basically the silly images that you want to put on your videos. Flare is essentially just just a goofy like anything. Like for Satisfactory, it could be like the Satisfactory person doing like the little heart. What is that? The heart logo thing, or like it could just be anything you want. It's just an image to add a little more interest to your videos. The logo is basically like, for me, like I use a lot of the like Dragon's Dogma. I will use the video game logo for that, like Fallout Shelter. I use the Fallout Shelter logo for that here, which is this one right here. It's just basically a nice way of just adding a little more personality to your thumbnail generation. And caption colors provide, okay, so the caption colors, the captioning system is in here. Override default caption colors. Yes, we generally I want to do that. Highlight color is keeping it with the Fallout radioactive green. And title color is usually generally white for me. You can have it anything you want. Fonts, we already covered fonts, the air impact, Arial, blah, blah, blah. This is your custom profile, so this is not the default settings anymore. Font scale, basically just scaled up from like 32 points, depending on how big the image is, it scales it from there. Title text, if you want to have all your titles be boring and the same, you can put this in here. Generally, I would just say leave it empty. You don't need anything in here. Use flare. Some people are like, I like to use flare, so I have this on for most of my videos. Actually, for Fallout Shelter, I'm going to actually keep it on. So I'm glad I actually did this video. And here's all my flare video images for Fallout Shelter. These are just silly little images from Fallout that I collected. And essentially the location where you want your flare location. I like it on the bottom left. Some of the flares are better on like they're depending on what they are. This one looks like it would be a bottom right flare, right? So I would want that on the bottom right. Flare position. So we're here we go. Bottom center, bottom right. Okay, bottom right. Timestamp range. This is already covered that. Frame selection. We already covered that. And finally, we already covered the YouTube settings. This is your playlist name that you want to keep in there. I like to upload for Fallout Shelter. I do episodic every 2 days. And release time 4 p.m. when people are starting to kind of get tired of their jobs, and they just want to watch a fun video as they're rounding up, ready to go leave. Like they're watching the clock, ready to leave at like 5 p.m. to get the heck home and have dinner, right? So yes, I'm kind of promoting that. Private, yes, because I just want everything just to start uploading the next day, whatever. And then finally the header, blah, 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 and everything like that. Now, this is actually a 13-minute video, so I'm going to stop here because basically we covered everything way, way in depth, and I'm talking really, really damn fast, and my throat is dry, so I'm going to stop here, okay? But I definitely appreciate, if you even got to this far, I really appreciate it. Just like, subscribe, buy Loki Studio, join the Discord, join the community, start giving your feedback. I welcome feedback. Keep me straight. If I make a mistake, correct it. Right? Don't be afraid to correct a mistake that I may have made, because I know I'm going to make a lot of mistakes. I'm not scripting any of these videos. I'm doing them on the fly. Because I developed the system, so I know it pretty darn well. But some of these videos may not help people, and I want to know what you need in the community, what videos you need to be made to grow, to learn, to understand Loki Studio better. I really believe in this system, and I really want it to grow and help the community, the creator communities out, because I'm personally sick of like yearly subscriptions. Every year I get smacked with like some surprise bill, and I'm like, what the hell? I haven't used this app for like 6 months, or for like 11 months, right? I used it once and I forgot that I subscribed for a year. So I'm tired of yearly subscriptions. I'm tired of all the bullshit of SaaS subscriptions, everything. Loki Studio is like basically the old model. You get a free version and you get an upgrade, you buy the version, you get a paid for version, and you literally have all these unlocked features, right? That's my philosophy. That's the way I like to keep things. That's how software should be done. I'm not here to milk people for every freaking nickel and dime that they got. I just you're not spending $300 a month or whatever on paid subscriptions, like a software stack of all of these different things, right? This is the way I want to. This is the Lokii way. Like, we're not trying to nickel diming you. We're not going to shake you for all your money. We're just one time fee, done, private, no collection of data. That's the way things should be, right? So I'm here to help the community, the creator community out, and make a damn good product and make this better. So let's make this better. Help me out. Give feedback. Keep me straight. Don't if I spell a language wrong, fix it. I mean, just tell me. You just bring it up. Hey, you spelled tag along wrong. Or never mind. I have no idea how to spell Filipino. I keep spelling it with the ph. Anyway, in the triangle. Never mind. I'm not even gonna even try. I keep messing up the Filipino language. Anyways, I will look it up later. But anyways, thank you very much. Have a great one. Bye.